everyone, Camilla here from Decodable Readers Australia. Today we're going to focus in on fluency. Firstly, we're going to unpack the components that make a fluent reader. Once we have a good understanding of those components, we can then look at the teaching strategies and methodologies in order to build that fluency in our readers. From there, we're going to have a look at repeated reading and the effect size that it has on fluency. I'm also going to share with you types of repeated reading that you can do in your class, from supported reading to paired reading and choral and echo reading, and have a look at how these strategies can be implemented in your classroom to ultimately build fluent readers. So firstly, let's have a look at the components of fluency. There are 4 key components to fluency. The first one being accuracy. This is all about automaticity and lifting those words off the page. This requires the ability to effortlessly read those words or to draw on phonics and word knowledge when unfamiliar words cannot automatically be recognized. Now, students require a secure knowledge of phonemic awareness, letter sound knowledge, high frequency words and morphology. They also need to read with more than 95% accuracy to be classified as a fluent reader. The next component is about rate. Now, reading rate is all about the speed in which a reader reads. Now, fluency is not just about reading as fast as possible. Students must use phrasing and appropriate speed. Now, this also is connected to the type of text being read. So it brings us to the next component, prosody. Prosody is the ability to read with expression and with reading that sounds like speaking. Also, based on the type of text being read, students may read with intonation, expression, attention to that punctuation, phrasing, volume, and emphasis that matches the type of text being read. And that really brings me to our 4th component, which I've added in today. I honestly believe that knowledge of text is really important before even starting. What type of text is being read, and having that background knowledge of the topic being read, because that can really influence that prosody, the rate, and also the accuracy if it's a familiar topic. So when a student has good knowledge of the topic being read, it can assist the other fluency components. As you can see, fluency is multifaceted and it takes time and effort across multiple domains. When students are first learning to read, we need to focus just on the accuracy, building that accuracy where they can lift those words off the page with automaticity. Now, this takes time and effort, and to begin with, it can be quite laborious. Students will sound out every word and blend it together, and I absolutely love the article from Alison Clark from Spellphabet. She has a great article which I'll put the link in this post, and it's all about the analogy of going to the gym. If you've got real weights, it's going to take a lot of effort and hard work to build that muscle. Just like our students learning to read, they need to orthographically map these words so they can lift them off the page with automaticity. That hard work of decoding the words and building that accuracy level is part of the reading process. So it's important to have the students have many opportunities to build their accuracy.
At, nat, g, ot, got, a, g, rug, and p, pick.
Almost try again. Ink.
Pink, zinc.
Yep. Now, once students start to build accuracy, that's when we can work on their reading pace, or what we call that reading rate, the speed in which they're reading. And finally, when cognitive load is reduced because they're not trying to work out their words, they've already orthographically mapped those words, they have the accuracy, they have the rate, we can definitely then work on their expression and intonation and be able to read the text in an engaging and exciting way. Now, let's take a look at repeated reading and the benefits that it has on fluency. Gone are the days where we have a student read a text and we put it back on the shelf or back into the school library, never to be seen again. In John Hattie's ranking influences, repeated reading comes up very high in effect size. This means that it is significantly beneficial. So I want to explore some of the different strategies that you can implement for repeated reading. Obviously, repeated reading at home level is great for home reading. If you can match up the books that you have read in the classroom and then students have another go at home with their parent, is ideal. Now here at Decodable Readers Australia, our online library is the best way to do that. You can read the physical books in the classroom and then have digital access where students can read the exact same book, and you can lock and unlock books in our digital library, and students can then have that repeated practice at home. Now, I want to have a look at some other strategies that you can do in your classroom for repeated practice. So let's have a look at some of the ways we can build in that repeated practice. Obviously, supported reading, that one-on-one corrective feedback and support is the most valuable because that's getting that one-on-one attention. And this is where teacher can model and support the reading process. Now, students are provided with scaffolding during this time and the support they need to demonstrate the reading skills. Another strategy of repeated reading is choral reading. This is where students read aloud in unison as a whole class or a small group. And the benefits of this is that students read aloud together, and those that may feel a bit nervous about reading have that built-in support. Now, this choral reading is where the teacher can also join in and keep that pace, either visually with their finger or pointer on a large screen, or vocally if students have a text in front of them. Now, another great strategy is echo reading. This is where students read a small amount of text after it has just been modeled by a teacher. And this modeling process really builds in that accuracy, that rate, and that prosody, showing the students and demonstrating to the students the fluent process. And it provides students with that strong scaffold and the expected outcomes of fluency. Nat got a rug and pink zinc for the picnic. Can you have a turn now? Just that's one sentence.
Nat got a rug and a pink zinc for the picnic.
And lastly, paired reading. This is where two students read the same text aloud to each other, or they could take turns reading a page from a shared text. Now, it's really important that they share the text. That way they can really engage at the same time. Sometimes when you have the same text but two students, they can go off on their tangent even though they're sitting really close together. Now, this paired reading provides students with repeated practice as well as corrective feedback if you train your students with their responses. The key takeaways are that educators need to explicitly teach and model each component of fluency. We also need to allow students plenty of practice, repeated practice time, so that they have the time to build those skills. It's also important to remember that accuracy is the first step to fluency. Students need to reduce the cognitive load on the decoding process, so they actually need to become automatic in their word recognition before they can start working on their pace and expression and all those other components of reading fluency. So there you have it, reading fluency and the benefits of repeated reading.